On the night of October 8th, 1871, Americans woke to headlines about Chicago burning. But hundreds of miles away, another fire was killing far more people. Entire towns vanished. Families disappeared. And by sunrise, America had suffered the deadliest wildfire in its history. This was the Peshtigo fire. Peshtigo was a lumber town in Wisconsin. Wood built the homes. Wood built the businesses. Wood built the sidewalks. Even the economy depended on timber. The forests surrounding the town seemed endless. Logging companies had spent years cutting trees throughout the region. Branches and leftover wood covered the ground. To clear them, workers often started controlled burns. Most of the time, nothing happened. But 1871 had been unusually dry. The forests became fuel, waiting for a spark. Farmers noticed. Loggers noticed too. Small fires had already appeared throughout the summer. Smoke drifted through the region. People complained about the smell. Few people worried about disaster. Fire was part of frontier life. People believed they understood it. They were wrong. On October 8th, powerful winds moved through Wisconsin. Small fires suddenly merged together. Fields ignited. Forests erupted into flame. Witnesses later described walls of fire racing through the trees. The flames moved faster than horses could run. Entire neighborhoods were trapped before residents understood the danger. Some fled toward rivers. Others hid inside wells. Families ran into open fields hoping the flames would pass around them. For many people, there was nowhere safe to go. The heat became unbearable. Some survivors later said the air itself seemed to burn. Breathing became painful. Clothing ignited. Trees exploded apart with loud cracking sounds. Modern scientists believe Peshtigo experienced a firestorm. A firestorm creates its own weather. Hot air rises rapidly. Cool air rushes inward to replace it. Those winds feed the flames with fresh oxygen. The fire becomes a system of its own. Witnesses described tornadoes of fire moving through the darkness. Others reported winds powerful enough to throw people and debris through the air. Buildings disappeared within minutes. The destruction spread with terrifying speed. Peshtigo itself stood almost no chance. Wooden buildings became fuel. Streets became pathways for the flames. Escaping often meant running through burning debris. Those who reached the Peshtigo River found temporary safety by standing in the water for hours. Even there, survival was uncertain. People held children above their heads to stop them from drowning. Smoke rolled overhead. The darkness became complete. Many survivors later said they could not see the opposite riverbank. The fire had turned night into something far worse. By morning, much of the town no longer existed. The destruction stretched far beyond Peshtigo. Communities throughout Wisconsin and Michigan suffered severe damage. Millions of acres burned. Railroads were destroyed. Bridges collapsed. Livestock died in enormous numbers. Entire farms disappeared. The death toll remains uncertain even today. Official figures often estimate around 1,500 victims. Some historians believe the true number exceeded 2,500. If that estimate is correct, Peshtigo remains the deadliest wildfire in American history. Yet almost nobody talks about it. The reason may be timing. The Great Chicago Fire started on the very same night. Chicago was one of America's fastest-growing cities. Newspapers focused on Chicago. Politicians focused on Chicago. Investors focused on Chicago. The country focused on Chicago. Meanwhile, many communities destroyed by the Peshtigo fire were small frontier settlements. Some had no newspapers. Some had no detailed records. Some disappeared along with the people who lived there. History often remembers disasters that happen in famous places. Peshtigo happened in a place America rarely looked toward. As a result, one tragedy became legendary, while the other faded into silence. the stories left by survivors remain haunting. Some described cattle running while engulfed in flames. Others remembered birds falling from the sky. One survivor said the sound reminded them of 1,000 locomotives. Another compared it to a giant furnace opening across the forest. For many survivors, memory froze around a single image: a burning tree, a collapsing bridge, a loved one disappearing into smoke. Disasters become statistics. Survivors remember moments. Scientists still study Peshtigo today. The disaster showed how dangerous accumulated fuel can become. It revealed the risks created by drought and strong winds. Most importantly, it showed how quickly many small fires can become one unstoppable catastrophe. Modern firefighting technology is far more advanced. Satellites track heat. Aircraft monitor fires. Emergency alerts reach phones in seconds. Yet the lessons of Peshtigo remain painfully relevant. California, Australia, Canada, Greece. Around the world, communities continue learning the same lesson. Technology changes. Nature does not. The survivors of Peshtigo faced years of rebuilding. Families searched for missing relatives. Communities raised money for those who lost everything. Mass graves became necessary because many victims could never be identified. The scars remained long after new buildings appeared. Trauma does not disappear when reconstruction begins. Today, the town of Peshtigo still exists. A museum preserves artifacts and personal stories from the disaster. Visitors can see objects twisted by heat and smoke. Together, they tell the story of a night that changed America. Yet outside Wisconsin, awareness remains surprisingly low. Ask most Americans about the deadliest wildfire in their country's history, and many will guess California. Some may even say Chicago. Very few will answer Peshtigo. That silence may be the most remarkable part of the story. Before we finish, tell us in the comments, why do some disasters become famous while others disappear from public memory? Is it the number of deaths? The location? The media coverage? Or simply luck? History does not always choose its memories fairly. As the smoke cleared, America turned toward rebuilding Chicago. But in Wisconsin, families buried their dead and searched the ashes for anything that remained. Their tragedy never became a national legend. It became a local memory. And perhaps that is exactly why it matters. Peshtigo was the deadliest wildfire in American history. The disaster that happened on the same night as Chicago. The fire America forgot. If you know someone who loves forgotten disasters and hidden chapters of history, share this story with them. Because sometimes, the stories history almost lost are the stories most worth remembering. Subscribe to Past Imperfect for more forgotten disasters, lost cities, and moments when the past revealed how fragile the world could be.